Imagine, you are in China 2000 years ago. In the sweltering heat of summer, farmers, scholars, even emperors, all hold cups of steaming water. No one looks for ice. No one pours cold water. Not because they don't have any. Ice and snow are stored in cellars all winter. But they believe that a sip of cold water can disrupt the body, stop the flow of blood, and awaken dormant diseases. For them, hot water is not just a thirst quencher, but also a remedy, a shield to protect health. And the strange thing is, that belief has persisted for thousands of years. To this day. When we discuss why ancient Chinese people did not drink cold water, the first and most important thing to mention is the yin-yang philosophy system and its profound influence in traditional Chinese medicine, TCM. Yin-yang is not only a philosophical concept, but also a guideline for all body activities, all eating and living choices of ancient people. According to the traditional view, all things and phenomena in the universe include two opposing but complementary forces. Yin, cold, dark, still, low, soft, penetrating inside. Yang, hot, bright, moving, high, hard, spreading out. Human health is maintained when yin-yang is in a state of balance. When one element is in excess or lacking, the body will appear disordered and cause illness. In this context, cold water belongs to a very strong yin nature, cold in temperature. Heavy, still, drinking cold water is believed to suddenly increase the yin in the body, thereby overwhelming the yang qi, the warm and dynamic energy of the body. In TCM, the human body is like a heater that always maintains a stable temperature to maintain life activities. When cold water enters, it will suddenly cool down the yang qi, cause the spleen and stomach, the central organs of the digestive system in TCM, to contract and function poorly. Cause blood stasis, slowing down the process of transporting and metabolizing food. An ancient medical saying is often quoted: the spleen and stomach prefer warmth and hate cold, meaning that any food or drink that is too cold will reduce the function of the spleen and stomach. In the Yellow Emperor's Inner Canon, the foundational work of ancient Chinese medicine, it is written, when cold air penetrates deep, it will harm the spleen and stomach, causing food and drink to not be digested. This shows that the ancients observed the connection between drinking cold drinks and digestive problems, thereby forming the habit of avoiding cold water. Many regions in ancient China had long and harsh winters. Keeping the body warm was the top priority to avoid cold and rheumatism. Even in the summer, the temperature change between day and night was still quite large, so maintaining internal heat was considered necessary. Drinking warm water became a natural disease prevention measure, which was both suitable for the climate and in line with the idea of health preservation. TCM emphasizes health preservation, that is, maintaining and protecting health before the disease appears. Warm water helps maintain the flow of blood and qi. Avoiding cold water means avoiding the invasion of cold evil, a cold pathogen. It should be noted that this concept is not just a belief, but also a health strategy based on thousands of years of folk and clinical experience. While ancient Westerners did not have the same yin-yang system, they sometimes drank cool water from streams or used snow to cool it. The Chinese had a different view. All drinks must be boiled to ensure safety and warmth, both to kill bacteria and to protect the fire of the body. Even today, in many parts of China, people still maintain the habit of drinking warm or hot water all year round. In offices, hospitals, schools, etc., hot water dispensers are always present. This is not only cultural, but also the legacy of the health-preserving ideology based on the balance of yin-yang. Once we understand the philosophical foundation of yin and yang as the ideological basis, we need to delve deeper into the perspective of traditional Chinese medicine, TCM, to see clearly the mechanism that explains why cold water is considered harmful to the human body in the context of ancient culture and science. In TCM, the digestive system, especially the spleen and stomach, is considered the life center of the body. The spleen and stomach are likened to the body's stove, where food is cooked and transformed into qi and blood to nourish the whole body. When the stove is burning steadily, pouring a large amount of cold water is no different from suddenly putting out the fire. As a result, the stove goes out, the food is not cooked, and qi and blood are not produced sufficiently. This explains why, according to TCM, cold foods, including cold water, are the nemesis of the spleen and stomach. In traditional medicine theory, the pathogens are called 6 evils: wind, cold, summer heat, dampness, dryness, and heat. Cold evil is one of the most dangerous factors because it constricts blood vessels, slows down blood circulation, and freezes the activity of internal organs. When we drink cold water, especially when the body needs warmth after eating, in the morning, when sweating a lot, cold evil will invade the internal organs through the digestive tract. For example, folklore often says, cold enters the spleen and stomach, causing illness. This implies that cold not only affects the surface, skin, muscles, but also attacks deep inside. TCM observes specific reactions when drinking cold. Slowed digestion. Cold water causes the stomach to contract weakly. Gastric juice is diluted. Food stays longer, right pointing arrow, causing bloating and indigestion. Stomach ache or diarrhea. Cold stimulates abnormal intestinal motility, especially in people with weak spleen and stomach. Temporary immune deficiency. Yang qi is inhibited. The body is susceptible to external evils, viruses, bacteria, causes blood stasis. Blood and qi do not circulate well, leading to a feeling of heaviness and fatigue. According to ancient records, people who regularly drink cold drinks are at risk of spleen deficiency. The spleen and stomach lose their ability to transport well, causing weakness, slow growth in children, and decreased physical strength in adults. Accumulation of cold and dampness. Cold combined with dampness produces cold dampness, right pointing arrow, leading to joint diseases. Back pain, numbness in hands and feet, weak blood and qi. The body lacks energy. The skin is not rosy and is easily tired. Chronic digestive diseases, gastritis, digestive disorders, irritable bowel syndrome. Some classical documents have directly or indirectly mentioned avoiding cold drinks. The Yellow Emperor's inner canon. Cold qi enters the house, injures the spleen and stomach, blocking water and grain from transforming, analyzed in the previous section. The Compendium of Materia Medica by Li Shijun, 16th century, mentions many medicinal herbs that have the effect of warming the middle and dispelling cold, meaning warming the stomach and spleen, thereby indirectly advising against cold foods. Trong Han Lun by Zhang Zhongjing describes diseases caused by cold invasion, including from the mouth. When drinking cold and symptoms appear, traditional medicine often uses warm ginger water. Fresh ginger, spicy and warm, helps expel cold. Warming the spleen and stomach. Cinnamon tea, used for mild cases of cold invasion, helps circulate blood and qi. Acupressure, especially the Zhongguan and Zhuxianli acupoints, to stimulate digestion. These therapies not only treat symptoms but also aim to restore suppressed yang qi. Today, some modern medical studies also show that cold water can constrict blood vessels in the digestive tract, slowing down absorption. In some sensitive people, cold water after strenuous exercise can cause cramps or abdominal pain. However, in most healthy people, this effect is only temporary and does not cause long-term illness. This is the difference between TCM and Western medicine. The ancients always promoted the principle of prevention is better than cure. Avoid giving cold evil a chance to invade from the beginning. Drinking warm water is a simple but effective disease prevention habit. This is not just a prohibition of cold water, but a proactive way of managing health. There are 3 factors that make this theory persist. Practical experience. The ancients observed that people who drink cold water are more susceptible to digestive diseases and colds. Climate. Long winters. Cold water sources often come with the risk of contamination. Boiling and drinking hot is the safe choice. Health philosophy. Consider the body as a whole that needs to be kept warm to protect the yang energy. When leaving the scope of medical theory, we will see that the ancient Chinese habit of not drinking cold water is also strongly reinforced by social and cultural factors. This is not only a healthcare behavior, but also a collective habit, maintained through many generations thanks to the connection with life, environment, customs, and even the power structure in society. China is a large country, stretching from the cold temperate zone in the north to the subtropical and tropical zones in the south. In the north, long winters, low temperatures, keeping warm is the top priority. Even in the summer, the difference in day-night temperatures is still significant, so cold water is considered a shock to the body. In the south, humid climate, prone to diseases due to damp cold. Drinking cold water is believed to aggravate the condition of dampness in the body. This way of dealing with the weather became a collective habit. People drank hot tea, boiled water to keep warm, regardless of the season. In ancient societies, truly cold water, temperature lower than the environment, was rare and often only appeared in mountainous areas with ice and snow, in wealthy palaces or mansions, where there were conditions to transport ice from a distance or store it in cellars. People often did not have means of artificial cooling. Even getting water from wells or streams in the summer was only slightly cool, not biting cold, like modern ice. Therefore, drinking warm or hot water was both a safe choice and suitable for practical conditions. Since the Tang and Song dynasties, tea culture has flourished. Tea is often brewed with boiling water, drunk while still hot or warm. The process of boiling water, making tea, enjoying became a social ritual. Receiving guests, discussing work, exchanging knowledge. This inadvertently reinforced the habit of drinking hot, warm water. Drinking hot tea was considered polite, showing respect for guests. Giving guests a glass of cold water could be seen as disrespectful or uncaring. In ancient times, water was often untreated, containing many impurities, bacteria, and parasites. Boiling was the most effective way to kill pathogens. So drinking water was always boiled, and rarely cooled completely before drinking. This hygiene factor not only helped prevent disease, but also gradually formed the belief that warm, hot water was good, and cold water was bad, although part of the reason stemmed from environmental conditions. In feudal society, cold drinks were sometimes seen as a symbol of power. Emperors, nobles, and wealthy families could drink ice in the summer. Common people did not have this opportunity and were educated that cold is bad for health. This stratification creates two layers of habits. Common people drink warm, hot all year round, right pointing arrow, a traditional habit. Upper class can enjoy cold, but only on special occasions, right pointing arrow not popularized. From a young age, children are taught drinking cold will cause stomachache. Drinking warm water in the morning is good for the spleen and stomach. Postpartum women absolutely avoid cold foods to protect their long-term health. These teachings are repeated from generation to generation, becoming more of a cultural belief than a simple medical recommendation. Confucianism, Taoism, Buddhism also deeply influences the way people treat their bodies. Confucianism considers maintaining health a responsibility to family and society. Right pointing arrow, drinking warm is a sign of someone who knows how to take care of their body. Old masters emphasize harmony with nature. Right pointing arrow, avoid cold water because it is a sudden intervention in the body's qi. Buddhism, many precepts advise avoiding raw and cold foods to keep the body pure. Favorable for meditation. Some festivals and community events are also associated with drinking hot drinks. Winter festival, drink warm wine, hot tea to dispel cold and welcome spring. Rainy season, drink ginger tea, hot soup to remove dampness. These customs maintain the perception that drinking hot equals disease prevention and good luck, while drinking cold is against the rules. In communal meals, everyone drinking warm drinks creates a behavioral pattern. If an individual breaks the rule, drinks cold, they are easily reminded or seen as different. This consensus helps the habit to survive for hundreds of years. If we look at ancient Europe, we see, in the Mediterranean, people still drink cold because of the hot, dry climate and cleaner water sources. In Northern Europe, cold drinks are more popular because of the clean water sources and low temperatures all year round. This difference emphasizes that drinking habits are directly influenced by climate, environment, and philosophy of life. Drinking warm water instead of cold is part of that harmony, a small effort to help the body adapt better to the environment. Today, with technology and science, we have more options, but the core principle remains the same. Understand your body, choose what is most suitable, and respect the cultural values that have nurtured the community for thousands of years.